everyone. As promised, today we're going to do the first recipe in my beginners series. And this is actually a really decent meal, but it is just so simple to do. So I thought it would be a really great one to start with. So we're going to cook some rice. So the reason I'm not starting at the sink is because we're going to rinse the rice first. So I'm going to use 1 cup of rice. And I'm going to put it in a strainer, and I'm just going to rinse it. And the reason I'm going to rinse it is because it's got some extra starch that's a bit powdery on there, and it makes it really get gummy if you don't rinse off the rice. And then it also helps it to absorb the water better as you're cooking. So that's it. I mean, there really is no hard and fast rule how long, but you can see the water is not coming out super clear. It gets more clear as you're doing it, and that's because the water is full of starch. So the more you rinse, the more you'll get off there, but we'll call that good. And then I'm just going to put this in my saucepan. Let it finish dripping. There we go. And I'm just shaking it around to get it all together, so then it comes out easily. There we go, into my saucepan. So that was 1 cup of rice, and I have 2 cups of water, and that is the ratio when you're cooking rice on the stove that does it perfectly. So we're just going to move over to the stove, and there we go. Okay, that's good. Okay. So we're going to put that on high, but keep an eye on it for a few minutes just because we want it to come to the boil, but catch it just in time before it starts to boil up, and then turn it right down low and let it do its thing. So in this pan, which is our fry pan, talking about pots and pans, I did a video earlier that was talking about how to select cookware. So if you haven't watched that, I encourage you to go take a peek. And I sort of explained the 3 perfect pieces to start with, and these are 2 of them here. So what I have here is it's cooked chicken breast cut into slices and then frozen, and you can buy it like that. So it's totally cheating, but it's not. It's a perfectly acceptable way to prepare your food, and I use these for so many meals. So depending on how many people you're doing that, this bag will do my family for about 2 meals, depending on how many of us are home and what kind of meal I'm doing and how heavy on the meat it is. So this is I just put it in exactly like that. It's still frozen. If you get the kind that's not frozen, because you can buy them in the grocery store also and not frozen, that's also fine. And we're going to turn that on to about a medium high to start with. And this is honey garlic sauce. This is just the no-name brand from my grocery store. We actually prefer this one to the name brand. But if you go with the name brand, it's perfectly fine. You can do this exact same recipe in so many different flavors. You could do orange chicken. You could do honey garlic, teriyaki. There are just so many different flavors that you could use depending on your preference. But so honey garlic it is today. And I'm just going to go ahead and put the whole jar in there because we like to have a little bit of the extra sauce to put it when we put it over the rice. We like to have it a little bit saucy. Could you just grab me a little bit of water, honey? I've got my helper here behind the scenes, and I'm going to, so that we don't waste anything, really, I'm going to put a little bit of water in my jar and shake it around to get the last bit of it out there. And we'll have lots and lots of sauce. So that is really it. So now the only thing that we're going to do is let that simmer. Once I get it up to simmering, I'm going to turn it down to low, and I'm going to let it simmer for the same amount of time as it takes to cook the rice, which is about 20 minutes once you've got it up to temperature. So it really doesn't take a lot. I'm going to speed up the video, but I'm going to keep the video on, and you're going to see me come and stir the chicken every now and then. But once I turn the rice down, I'm not touching it. You're not opening it. You're leaving it completely closed so that the heat stays in and it cooks without losing any of the moisture on there. So I'm going to put this lid on because the lid on will keep your juices inside and it'll keep the heat more even on your food. When you take the lid off, you're going to get a lot of evaporation, so your sauce is going to thicken more, which if that's what you want, that's fine. And also you're going to have to stir it a lot more to keep the heat on all of your food at the same time because you're losing heat from the top. So this is just about ready to turn down. So once it starts to bubble, then I turn it down to low, the lowest setting that your stove will go, and then you leave it like that. So there we go. I see it bubbling. So now I am going to stop talking. We're going to keep the video running and we're going to come back a little bit later when everything's cooked. Okay, well, we're back and everything seems to be cooked. If I wanted this to be any thicker, I would just let it evaporate by cooking it a little bit longer with the lid off. But we like it saucy, so we're going to leave it like that. Turn it off. And our rice the liquid is all absorbed, you can see. And it is ready to just, you can fluff that or just start serving it like people like to fluff it with a fork. And it is perfectly ready. So this is a complete meal minus the vegetable. So there's some super simple options to do for the vegetable. I often serve this with a salad, which if I'm really in a pinch, in a crunch, I will just buy a bagged salad and throw it all together while this is cooking. But I will do a video of some really simple salad recipes to save the cost of buying all those individual bags as a separate video. Or you can steam vegetables. You can steam vegetables really well in the microwave actually too. So those are both really good options as your vegetable side with this meal. So anyway, bon appetit. Have a great day.